nice to have you back with me again. Well, today I've got the canvas turned horizontal. It's got a very thin layer of titanium white, as always. Now I've thinned that layer out with just a little bit of linseed oil added to my titanium white, so it's all very thin, but the canvas is all wet, slick, ready to be painted on. And, well, you know me. I like to use canvases that I've already painted on before because there's no sense in letting a canvas go to waste. And you know, on this show we got a little bit of a bingo card of things that are going to happen, or a checklist of things that have to happen during an episode. And if you've been here with me before, you know what they are, but right here is one of them. A little drip of paint on the palette. Well, as we get started today, all the colors are going to be flashing up on the screen today, but today I've also got a little bit of a extra color I decided I wanted to add. That's good enough. Right here is a mud color. You get this color by mixing all these colors together. What happens is after you use all these colors on the palette, eventually you can mix them all up and make something that looks maybe like this. It might not be exactly like this because when you add your colors together, you might get a completely different result. It all depends on the ratio of the colors that are being added in here. Now, since it's so green, it's probably got a little bit more of this phthalo green right here and there. Anyway, we're going to be painting some Badlands out near, probably, I forget where they are, probably North Dakota or something. So let's go ahead and get our 2-inch brush. This brush is made with natural hairs. I like to use natural hairs because they don't streak as much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out this ultramarine blue right in the palette there. Actually, just pull it out at an angle because we're going to be pulling all three of those colors out. I have them situated next to each other like that for a reason, because so often we will pull these out and mix them together and create all kinds of different colors. You can see a little bit of drip on the palette right there already. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to get a little bit of that phthalo green in there, right? We'll just pull that all the way over there. There. So now we got all those colors, 2 of those colors, just mixing right here in the middle. Okay? That's where we want that mixing area to be. Now, what we're going to do after we got that, we want more ultramarine blue than we do phthalo green in this mix. So we're going to go up here now, and with X strokes, crisscross strokes, we're going to just cross the whole sky like this. Okay? And you know what? This isn't going to be a lot of sky today. No. We're going to have just a little bit of sky. Just a little bit. Okay? We're not going to do a lot, so about this much sky is going to be good for us. Maybe we want to go up and just, maybe darken that up a little bit at the top. Because, when you look at skies, they're always darker at the top than they are near the horizon line or near where everything that you see in the landscape meets. Okay? So we got that. Now what we want to do, I'm just going to set that brush aside right now. We're not going to bother cleaning it off quite yet. What we want to do is get this little tap to mist things out. Because like I say, near the bottom, you're going to see a lot of haziness. It's real misty out in the distance, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. And we're going to have a couple of things far off in the distance that are going to appear a little bit bluer than they would otherwise. Alright, I think we've got that pretty well settled right there. Now notice when I do this, I'm just going to show you for a second. I have the bristles bending up. Just like that. I'm not pressing real hard, I'm just letting it tap. And I kind of got the brush tilted at an angle upward so that the brush, when I hit the canvas, the bristles bend up. Okay? So we got that. Now we're going to get out the big old palette knife right now. We're going to get a big old palette knife. We're going to take out, we're not going to get real complicated. I still think I want some phthalo green in this. So let's get some of that phthalo green. And let's get some of this mix right here. Because this might be real useful right now, okay? Yeah, this might be real useful. Let's get some of that blue in there. Yeah, that's turned out to be a real nice color. Yeah, it's going to look real nice out in the distance. Now, you don't have to worry too much about, losing all your color in case you're using a lot of it. Alright, that's good enough. Now, what you want to do is you want to pull it out. You just want to cut down. You're going to get a nice little roll of paint on your knife like that. You just pull it out, cut. That's how you do it. Okay? So we're just going to go right up here, pick a spot, and Ooh, that's a nice little thing, isn't it? Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Now, I don't want that to get too thick. So let's just make this little mountain right here, okay? Okay. And we can just go ahead and wipe the rest of that on the palette. I'm going to wipe the rest of that off because we got that pretty well settled right there, okay? So since we got that, since we got this, let's go ahead and set that knife aside right now. Let's take the 1-inch brush and let's just give this a little bit of a brush off. Like that, and just like that. So easy. Again, and then that's all we have to do. You know, with the other 1-inch brush, I'll give it another little bit of a mist right there. I don't have to do this right now, but you're going to want to keep doing this as you go along. Okay, so what we want to do, since the light is coming from this way, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit, just a little bit of white. We're not going to, I got a little bit of a drip on my titanium white. All my colors are, we got a mutiny on the palette here. We got a mutiny on the palette. All the colors are rebelling against me, telling me, you're not painting this right. Well, it's my painting, and I'll do as I want. You know what I tell you guys all the time, what I tell you there at home, is that these colors, they are jokers. They are practical jokers. They think they're real funny, you know. Like they got all the funniest jokes in the business. Like they're kind of just look at me. Well, you gotta show them who's boss, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna show these colors who's boss right now. Now, when you make a bright color, you want to add a lot more white. Every time you think you've got a color that's bright enough, add one more touch of white, because you always want to make things brighter than you think they should be. Okay, I'm not pulling that out enough. That's how you pull it out. You get that little roll of paint, just like that. Okay, now we're just going to go up here, and you know what we're going to do? We're just going to, just like that. This doesn't have to be real complicated like that. No. Doesn't have to be real complicated. It just needs to be like that. That's all it needs. Okay, so you got that. That's all good. Okay, and we're just going to, here, let me set my palette down so I can wipe this off properly. Let me set this down so I can wipe it off properly. Okay. Now, there. You want to be sure to get all the paint off the edges, but since we're painting with the same blue, we don't have to worry too much right now. So when we paint with other colors, and we are going to paint with other colors today, that we have to worry more about stuff. Okay. So I'm going to take more of this color that we mixed up, and since this entire little mountain here is going to be blue, yeah, pull it out, cut it off. On the other side, we're just going to have this effect right here, this color that's kind of a shadow color. It's a mid-tone color is what it is. And it goes in between all those little areas where you create all those light things, okay? And that's all we have to do right there for that. Since, you know, this is just one of those little detail things out in the distance, okay? That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Real easy stuff. Painting mountains is no big deal. Painting mountains is one of the easiest things you could possibly do. All there is 3 colors, the shadow, the highlight, and the midtone. Okay, now what we're going to want to do is take some more with that 1-inch brush and just tap this. Tap it all. Yeah, there it goes. There it goes. Yeah, that's what I like right there. Okay. That's what I like. Okay. That's what we got to do right there. Okay. So let's take our big old knife again. And our palette back up. I'm bringing my yoke back on my shoulder. Okay. Let's take some more of that green mud color that we had. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna mix this bad boy up, and I'm gonna create something nice. I'm gonna throw some more blue in there. I want a lot of blue in this, okay? Because this is still way off in the distance. But I want it to be a little more green this time, because we're gonna see a little bit more than the blue. You know what happens with the atmosphere is that all the light and dust and all the particles of all the stuff out there kind of get in the way, and it blocks the wavelengths of all the other colors, and so it makes it a lot harder to see anything else except the blue, which is really the only wavelength that can really get through there off in the distance. Okay, now let's go ahead and we're just gonna create some other little things right here. We're going to do this just like that. Yeah, maybe we've got some more mountain ranges. I don't know. Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Okay. Just like that. Okay. Okay. And we're just gonna. Okay. And you know what? Since we got a lot of stuff going on right here, what you want to do is you want to just push it into the canvas right here. Push it into the canvas. See how far does this go? This goes way over to about here. Okay. There it goes. There it goes. Just like that. Okay. Now we got this one over here. It's going to go right about there. And this little range is going to stop right about here, I think. Right about here. Okay. Right about there. That's nice. Okay. We don't have to be too exact because we're going to correct some of this. I don't like to use the word correct. I can't talk right. I don't like to use the word correct in this instance because it's not really correcting. It's just part of the process of making these. There's a certain process that goes into making pictures, and you don't have to adhere to it, but it makes it a lot easier to do these kinds of things. And some ranges like this, they just kind of go on. They don't always result in peaks and everything like that, but the peaks are a lot of fun to paint. Now this is kind of going to go straight across like that. Yeah, just like that. Okay, and we're going to continue going over this way. Continue over this way, and I think we've got something pretty good here. There it goes. That's the way right there. Yeah. Cool. Looking good, looking good. All right, we'll just scrape the rest of that color right on there. I don't know how much more of that we're going to use, but now I want to get my little palette knife on. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to take some of this color right here, that mud color, because it's got a lot of white in it, that mud color, and we're going to take some of the yellow. And when I take my yellow, I like to take it from the inside of the palette, not the outside. That way it makes it a lot easier to not get paint on myself. That's one of the trials and tribulations of art is, you get paint on yourself all the time. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure I got a lot more vermilion than I do yellow on this one. Okay? Yeah, but I don't want to paint something that has absolutely no yellow in it. I want a little bit of yellow. What I'm looking for is kind of an earthy yellow. We'll just add a smidge more of the yellow in there. Yeah, that's looking good. That's looking nice. That's looking nice. Okay. And then what we can do is add a little bit of white in that just to see what it looks like all lit up. Yeah, we want to add more white on that. Okay. Alright. Now that's looking nice. That is looking nice. Do you think we should add more red to that? Okay, let's add some more vermilion in there. Let's add some more vermilion. And a little bit more of the chrome yellow. Okay. That's looking smart. Okay, we want that dull orange color. Add just a little bit more of the white. It's almost bright enough. It's almost bright enough. Almost bright enough. Okay. Now, you don't want to overmix this. One of my greatest sins is overmixing, I think, here. You know what I say? Always add a little bit more than you think you need, right? Right. Okay. So we got that. Let's cut across. I'm going to set my palette down right now, just so I can really concentrate on what I'm doing here. All right. So right about in here, we're going to... You kind of just want to let that drag down. And then we're going to do the same thing down here. Because maybe, we got lots of little things happening. Maybe, I don't know. There it goes. Maybe some of that is getting caught in there. Maybe this is getting caught up here. And maybe right up here, maybe we're getting kind of a darker color getting caught. I don't know. we'll just pretend that we got some stuff right here too, and maybe this is getting all over this way. Yeah, right over there, and let's see here. Let me get some more paint there. There we go. Every time you wonder if you got the right touch going on, grab yourself some more paint if you need it. You need to get yourself some more paint every time you think that you're running out of this particular color. Now this is an unusual color, but what's going on is that there's a lot of, brush and stuff up there in these mountains. These big old eroded mountains. These Badlands got a real fun look to them. They look so interesting, don't they? Well, they sure do. They sure do. Makes them a lot of fun to paint. That's why you see a lot of people with the Western paintings like that doing stuff like this, is because this is so interesting to look at and so fun to paint. Pull it down every now and then, because it's, sometimes there's stuff going on down there, and the stone pokes in through all the green stuff, and maybe you got some of this going on. Maybe this is a little bit more defined than you would like it to be. If it is, you go ahead and do what you want. Okay. And then we can take some of this and go down maybe this way. Yeah, just like that. Okay. And maybe we'll go out this way and there. Okay. Now let's go. Okay. Maybe we've got more little things that are happening out here. Maybe this is the mid-tone color. Yeah, maybe I was wrong all along. Maybe this is the mid-tone color that we're looking for. I don't know. I think that we might be onto something there. Maybe we're onto something. I don't know. Okay. If that's the case, we can go ahead and paint some of these other things. And don't be afraid to pay attention to where the light is coming on these. Because, you'll have little various areas where you're going to have light poking on these mountains. And from the other side, go in there. That's the way. Okay. Just like that. Pay attention to where the light is coming. Okay. Now that looks pretty good for what we're going for here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of that white, just go down right here. Now you got to be careful where you place your light colors on your palette here, because sometimes you get dangerously close to the edge, and that's where your arm is going to start dipping into the paint, which is no fun. So let's take some of this and put it over here. Okay. You think that's enough? You think that's enough? I think that's enough. I think that's enough. We don't need to have any more than that for right now. Actually, we're going to play around with these colors some more. These same colors that we're mixing up right now. So let's go ahead and take the rest of that white there. Or not that white, but that light color. Okay. I'll just throw it up there. Here, pull it down. There. Sometimes it takes me a few tries to get the pulling just right. Oops. I got a little bit of paint on my knife. The handle, not the blade. It's always a treat when that happens. So I'm not paying attention is when that happens. Alright, so with that lighter color, we'll just kind of go down in here and light up a few things, Yeah, that looks nice. And maybe over here. That's looking nice right there. Okay, and maybe right here. We've got a couple things there, here too, and right there. If it helps you to paint by making all these noises, go right ahead. maybe you need to make all these noises to help you really get it in there. I don't know. Just look for all the places where you think that all this stuff is going to kind of just bend like that here. Look at that. Maybe you got, you know, another one right here, and right there, and who knows, maybe there's one right here too. Sometimes it's funny the way that these, you know, mountains and things will poke out and protrude and do whatever they do. Okay, and right here too, here, there it goes, just like that. Okay, that looks nice. Let's go ahead now and let's get a little bit more. Ooh, I don't know. Let's go get a little bit more, well, foliage on this painting. Okay, let's wipe off the knife first though, because we gotta get our tools clean. As a matter of fact, we gotta clean off all of our tools because yeah, we're in a place where things are getting pretty dirty. Although we are in a nice place right now. What I really want to do now, is I want to clean off one of the brushes so that I can, well, I gotta clean off all the brushes, but I really want to clean off at least one here so I can give this hill taparoo. Showed who's boss. Let me put my knife aside here and I'm going to put it among the paint. I don't want to put it among the paint, I just cleaned it. It's a terrible decision. Having too much fun. That's what we do here. We just have too much fun. Gotta stop having so much fun. Alright. Let me tap that out right there. Yeah. Tap this out, give it a little mist, a little misty hue, and maybe we'll tap it out with the grain. That's probably the thing to do, right? Okay, and the rest of this we'll tap it out on the other side, the shadow side. Okay. That's fine. Here, let's clean it off again. Okay. Show it who's boss. That's right. You gotta show your tools who's boss, or else they'll take control of the painting, and you don't want that, because if you let them take control, they're gonna do some mighty strange things. We got a couple more brushes here we gotta clean off, so just bear with me. What I do is I keep odorless turpentine in a 5-gallon bucket. I rinse it on the grating, tap it on the side, like that. Give it a wipe on the edge, just to get the excess turpentine off. I show it who's boss. And then I wipe it off finally on the paper towels. That's right. And that's all clean and ready to go. Let's see that one more time, shall we? Clean off the 2 inches now. Show it who's boss. Okay, that one's clean and ready to go, and then we got one more brush here that we gotta clean off. Here, let me set this one aside. There it goes. Okay. Show who's boss. And now let's set the old palette down for a second. Set it down for a second, because we gotta wipe this bad boy off right here. know? Yeah. When you wipe off your palette knife, be sure you get the edges. Because, you know, if you don't get the edges, you can leave some paint on there. It's going to build up over time, and it's going to be a big old mess. It's a big mess. It's going to be impossible to take care of. So be careful with that. Okay. Got that taken care of. Now, let's take our 2-inch brush here. And what I want to do is I want to pull out some of that ultramarine. Get a little lizard crimson in there. And then we'll get that phthalo green. This is the part where we pull all these colors into this mix. All these colors. And this is going to be mostly phthalo green and ultramarine. Maybe a little bit more ultramarine here, okay? Now what we're going to do right here is we're going to start tapping. You know, don't be afraid to get that up in the mountains a little bit, all right? It's only going to go to about yay high. That's good. That's good. Okay. So we got that. We can set that aside for right now. Now let's go ahead into our, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get the fan brush out for this one because I think the fan brush might be better equipped to handle little areas like this. I'm just going to take the fan brush and load it up like that. And I'm going to maybe go through some of this other color that we got here. It's just kind of laying around. Yeah. Maybe I'll get a little bit of the vermilion on that. Get a lot more of that too. And we'll get some white too, you know? Get some white. Okay. I'm going to load up both sides of the fan brush. Okay. And then right here, we're going to start thinking about little things that are happening off in the distance here. Little things happening off in the distance. We added white because you know how things get a little bit mistier. And notice how I'm letting the bristles bend on this one. If you need to add a little bit more yellow, a little bit more white in there, go ahead. This can be mostly yellow and just white if you want, because you know you've already got this blue color here. Now, we don't need to make this real intense or anything, but we need to get some sense of what's going on here. Okay, and if you want, you can turn it over and get it to bend. There it goes. Go ahead and get more white. White and yellow if you want. Okay. And we'll go back down in here and again, just letting the bristles bend up. It creates all these little hill looking things because of the shape of the fan brush as it's bending. Maybe you want some more intense colors as you go forward. If you do, go ahead and throw some more yellow on that, just like that. Alright? Yeah, that's fascinating to look at. Okay. Yeah, you know, don't ruin all your darks, because those darks are going to be able to make the lights more apparent when you see it. Okay. Get more yellow, more white. And right about here. Yeah, right about here is where there's going to be a little bit more of a middle green color right in there. Alright. Maybe we got some more stuff that we want to see over in here. Yeah. That's looking good. A lot of this, some of this is going to get covered up by some mountain work. Alright. Okay. So right in there, let's go ahead and set this brush aside for right now, and let's get the other fan brush that we got. Because we got another fan brush, don't we? Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. And what we're going to do is take some of that yellow. Oops, I got a hair. Yeah, just isn't an episode of this unless we get some hairs in the paint. It's one of those trials and tribulations of having long hair, you know. Okay. I got some of that middle tone color in here. And I got a little bit of yellow too. Okay. And a little bit of that. Now let's just go in here and we'll bend that up in the same way, and then we'll get some of the yellow in here. And just to make this stand out, we'll surround it with the yellow color. There. Just like that. That's good. We leave that alone now, I think. And we need to clean off our fan brushes, because whew. See, there's another one on the bingo card. Hooting like an owl. Yeah, we gotta clean off these fan brushes because we're gonna need them later. These fan brushes are kind of sleeper brushes because a lot of people wouldn't think to handle them like this, but boy, they can do some stuff if you give them a chance. You're good at making pine trees and stuff. You're good at doing little pieces of grass off in the distance. Oh, they're good at doing a little bit of grass on mountains and stuff if you gotta have a curve, all that. Here. Little hummingbird. It's funny. It's funny when the brush makes that sound. Okay, this brush is good to go again. Now, let's go ahead and get the big old palette knife out again. And I think what I'm going to do for this one is, well, I'm going to get more of a violet color for the base of this. So let's get some of that. Ooh, some of that ultramarine, some of that alizarin, and then we'll add a little bit of the phthalo green on that. And if you ever wonder what color you got underneath, just add a little bit of white and it'll tell you. And right now we got a pretty smoky violet, which is exactly what we want, but let's add a little bit more alizarin crimson on that. Yeah, a little bit more. There it goes. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. All the way out here. And I'm going to start right about here. Right about there. Yep. All the way to... Well, we're going to cover a lot of this canvas here, actually. So, right from about here, there it goes. There it goes. You ready for the adventure now? Well, this is where things get really intense. Ooh, I'm absolutely excited for this. Here, let's go over this way, get a little bit more of that. Okay. And right about here. There. There it goes. And we're going to go to right about, ooh. Let's see, right about here. There it goes. We don't want to cover this area right here, because right down here, so there's going to be lots of grass and stuff, but we want to go a little bit further than we really need to, because you never know what's going to happen. Maybe you need more space than you thought you needed. Maybe you do. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Don't worry about this color getting to be, a little bit more of a shade of a lighter violet because it's mixing with the white underneath. That's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. There it goes. Okay. Alright. That's good. And, we can mix, we can just throw some of that back down on the palette. It's all good. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? Just wipe that off. I'm just going to wipe that off. Could have saved a little bit more paper towel maybe, but I decided we should just wipe it off. Okay. Yeah. Alright, that knife is ready to jump back in action whenever we feel like it. Okay. Now let's go ahead now with our 1-inch brush here. And we're going to just pull some of these things off to the side, just like that. And we'll make another big decision. And you know what we're doing here, we're kind of deciding the lay of the land to an extent. Alright. Yeah. We're kind of just making some notes here, more or less. Alright, this one's going to go all the way down here. All the way down there. Ooh, look at that. Okay. Alright, just like that. And we got all this stuff happening here. And we can make some decisions on some of that later if we want. We don't have to make any big commitments. You know, no big commitments right now. Okay. There it goes. There it goes. A lot of this, what we're doing is smoothing the paint out so that it's easier to get the other layers on it. Okay? That's really what the purpose of that was, just to cover all that up so that we could get the other layers on. Okay? So we don't have to worry about that color too much right now either. Now what we're going to do is get out the big old palette knife. The big old palette knife. And I'm going to add the lightest touch. Ooh, got another hair in the palette. You know, if you ever play a little bit of bingo on this, or if you ever keep a checklist of all the things that happen on this channel, you know, there's a certain list of things that are supposed to happen, like when I knock something over, or I knock the palette, or else I get paint on myself, or I get a hair on things, or I drop one of my tools, all that, you know, just real bad stuff. Yeah, some of that stuff happens to me. Alright, we're going to get a real light color here, right? Right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that we got a nice white color here. Now, in real life, this color is going to be probably a lot more complex than how we would, you know, depict it here. But since we are on a time limit and we don't have all the time in the world, I'm just going to take this, make it one step lighter than I think it should be. Okay? So, there's that one step right there. And now we add it. And now we got ourselves a really nice, bright color. What this is it's mostly chrome yellow and vermilion with some of that highlight color that we used earlier for these little mountains up above. Okay? Now you want to smear that out and then cut across like that. That's probably more paint than we really need, honestly. Alright. Now, let's go ahead here and, ooh, you know, I think there's actually going to be a different color over on this side here as opposed to the left. Oh boy, it's going to be one of those mountain ranges, huh? Well, it's a good thing I got two palette knives. And that big palette knife is going to be real useful for, yeah, for all the stuff on that side. Here, let's take some of this color right here. Ooh. See, look at that. We got our ready-made color right here. It's a good thing we didn't get rid of it, right? Oh yeah. Tell me about it. Alright, so you got it bright enough. Cut across. Ooh. Here. Let's cut across now. That's good. That's good. And now let's get that. Get that color. Okay? And maybe down here. And maybe we got a color that's kind of, we got a little angle right there. A little angle right there. that's looking good. Okay. Got that color right here, and then we got another one right in here. Ideally, you want to just graze the canvas and take what it wants when you're doing this. Okay? You want to just graze the canvas, take what it wants. Okay? Let's set the palette down for this one because this is going to require some concentration, I think. A little bit of the knife action. Okay. Right down in here. Ooh, okay. Right down there is where that's going to go. That's sweet. Okay. Let's go in here and right about here. Right about in here. So some of these things are going to go. Okay. Okay. And over here we got more of that highlight. Maybe. Okay. And maybe over here. It's going to be a little bit more of that right there. We're gonna make some decisions right here, and I'm gonna pull that down. I'm gonna create that little bump. Whew. Okay. And right here is where there's gonna be a little something. Okay. There it goes. Okay. Maybe we can take the small side of the knife and just pick some of these little things that are kind of showing up off on these sides here. There. There it goes. Okay. We're having some interesting things happening right now. That's for very certain. Okay, let's take the big knife now with all of its color on it. Okay. And let's decide down here where things are going to be. Maybe we got some of this right here. Okay. All right. And maybe we got some things happening right here. Maybe this needs to be a little bigger. Okay. Okay. A little bigger right there. That's okay. That's okay. That makes more fun. All right, in here. There's going to be a little bit of a curve right in here. Of all these little things happening. Yeah. Okay. And there's going to be one going down right here. All the way to about right here. There. Just like that. Okay. Maybe things are just kind of happening there, and maybe we got things happening right there too. A little bit of a curve on this side. A lot of this technique is just making sure that it's kind of the same thing as a mountain. You know, you go along and you try to get it to take what it wants. And sometimes you have to go back in and really encourage it a little. Sometimes it needs more encouragement than you think it would. And don't forget to capture little details here and there, like, you know, you got that over there, and you know, this over here. There. Here, let me put up my palette so you can see what I'm doing a little better. What I'm doing is I'm just doing the cutting technique just like that. And I'm going up here. We're going down. Just like this. You know how it is. Now, keep in mind there's going to be a bunch of shadows in between all this. Alright, so just like that. Yep. And maybe in here. Maybe in here. Maybe in here. Maybe it goes all the way down to about right here. Who knows? Yeah, maybe it goes all the way down to about there. Okay. And some of these rock formations, maybe they're kind of blended in. Maybe they're kind of blended in. You know what we can do? You know what a great corrector is? In case you ever screw up at all, because I don't just show you how to paint things. Well, mostly I show you how you can paint things. It's not how you have to paint things. That's one of my big things here. Remember that this isn't a how-to of how you absolutely should paint. This is just, you know, this is one way to do it. And if you don't like doing it this way, then, you know, by all means, do it your own way. But if you like doing it like this, you know, give it a shot. I keep telling you that when we do a lot of these things, we we take a lot of shortcuts because, well, we're only here for so long, first off. Okay, now look at that. Okay, so we got all that, we got all that. Make sure we got this over here. Let's make sure we got this over here. Leave a little bit of the shadow, but also cover up enough of everything that you see so that you can really get some colors in there. Okay, so we got that going, and that looks pretty neat. As a matter of fact, let's go in with this little knife again, with this blue color, and right about here, maybe we got some more stuff going on there. Maybe I got this color cutting down in here, and it stops right about there. Okay. That little color change is kind of fascinating to see. Whew. Just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right. Now let's go ahead and wipe off this knife. And now, what I'm going to do is wipe it off again onto my paper towel roll. Okay? Okay. So maybe, we've got a little bit of unusual color here. Let's go ahead and take the alizarin and get it all up in this color right here. Now this is an interesting little color that we made with the alizarin, okay? And you don't want to, here, I'm getting it a little too close to my sleeve there, so let's go ahead and just cut it off. And let's see how it looks. Ooh. Oh, that is nice. Okay. Are there any other places where we see this color? Yeah, we see this color a little bit. You know, this is just a mid-tone color. It's just a mid-tone color. It's not the only mid-tone color you can use, alright? There's lots of other little things you can throw in there. Lots of other little things, okay? And now that is a pretty trippy color. Well, maybe it even pops in over here. Makes itself a little bit of an appearance. Well, we got that little edge of the palette knife for a reason, you know? And maybe, you know, it crops in up here. Maybe it crops in up here too. Okay. Smart. We got this right here. We'll just pop this in every which way we see a little bit of the shadow on the orange side. Now we might add a little bit more of the orange color in there. We might make this a little bit more complex when we talk about all the shadows and everything. Okay. That's looking all right. Okay. Whew. Yeah, I know. So you know this is getting tough when I start hooping like an owl. Whew. Let's imagine maybe that the sun is kind of hitting this from a little bit from the back. Maybe it's a little bit backlit. Is it a little bit backlit? Oh, it might be. It might be. And when that happens, you gotta be careful, all right? Okay. You gotta be a little careful when you start seeing backlit stuff. Okay. All right. See here. this alizarin color kind of shows up everywhere. Alright. There it goes. Is there any other places where we think this color might show up? Yeah, maybe in there a little bit. Maybe in there. Okay. Now, let's set that palette down. And let's go ahead and wipe off this knife a little bit more. Yeah. Doesn't have to get too clean. It just needs to get the paint off of it. Alright. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our violet color. We need a middle tone violet color right here. So let's take some of that color that this one's going to have a little bit more blue in it. A little bit more of the blue. Okay. A little bit more of the blue. And we'll take some white. That's still pretty red, isn't it? Yeah, a little bit. Okay. That's a little better. Always make it a little brighter than you think it needs to be. See what that looks like? Ooh. Yeah, I was right. Make it a little brighter than you think it needs to be. Because it's almost the same color as that base layer, isn't it? Yeah, a little bit. Okay. So now we can go with some of these things. Okay. And if you need to, we can take the little there. And we'll just go in here. Whew. Okay. Let's take a round brush now. Make sure it's all clean off. Just give it a little bit of tap, a little bit of a beat around there to show who's boss. Now let's go in here and, well, I guess let's, here. Maybe. We need to add a few touches here and there. Right in here. Just to really know and really show where all the divisions are. You know what might help is getting a little bit of that odorless turpentine in there to help that run off the brush a little more. There it goes. Let's get that one in there. Maybe this one over brush, aren't we? A little too much paint. You guys, that's getting into the fool right there, huh? Maybe we'll get a couple of brush strokes over here. That's good. Now, we got some things that we have to do over on this other side here, so let's take some of this brown color, some of this orangish brown color that we have left over from up above. And let's really get that mixed in here. So I have a feeling that between that and the alizarin type color, we're going to have ourselves a little bit more variation. Okay. Maybe. Okay. There it goes. Okay. Then over here. Okay. Okay. All right. I think maybe we might have something starting to take shape here. All right. Okay. All right. Let's take just a little bit of white and really accentuate some of this. Just take some of that color and go into the white, instead of taking the white and going into the color, which is probably the best way to handle it. Okay. This is so much fun. I don't know. It's interesting to note what works and what doesn't as you go. Okay. Whew. Okay. Oh my. There's a nice little hair on that, isn't there? Yeah, there is. That was a big hair. Whew. I don't know how that happened. That was intense. Okay. 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 This next one needs a little bit of TLC too. So let's take some of this. Take a little green with the mud color that we had, along with a little bit of that ultramarine, well, a lot of the ultramarine actually, and some of the white. Okay. Now let's just see where this takes us. Because maybe we go. Yeah, drag that down a little bit, and then maybe up here. There's a little bit right in here. Cutting there a little bit. And maybe right here. Alright. Just like that. And let's go right this. And right up here. Okay. And then pull it out a little bit right in there. Yeah, these little ranges here, kind of interesting to look at, but also they're a little busy too, aren't they? I'll say. Whew. So now let's take our lightest color and redefine some of these areas. Like right here, and right in here. Okay. Maybe right there, there's a little bit more of that. Okay. Maybe we got some interesting stuff going on there. And maybe, yeah. Whew. Just drag some of this down. Okay. Now, I think we can move on to the last part of the painting. All right. So let's just go on ahead, take out our 2-inch brush, and we'll take some of the blue, some of the phthalo green, some of the alizarin crimson. Let's get a lot of phthalo green in here. I'm just feeling it. A lot of green, a lot of the alizarin crimson. Okay, here we go. There it goes. Okay. Because maybe the grass goes all the way up into this area. All right? Yeah, maybe it does. What if it does? Okay. That should be good. Okay. Yeah. Show it to his boss. God knows we need to show it to his boss because these colors are getting too riled up. They got other ideas. Hey, look at all these areas out here, like this place out in, just pull out a little bit of that chrome yellow right there. Okay. So now what we can do, and we might pull out a little bit of the vermilion too. We can start up here and just start tapping in. And we don't have to keep doing it like that. What we can do is we can go down here and maybe we can do it like that. And maybe we can add a little bit. Maybe we can add a little bit of the vermilion in there, along with that chrome yellow. Because we can do that. We can do that. We sure can. And then we can go. That's right. But we also don't want to destroy everything that we do we? No. I mean, look at all that interesting stuff. Let's go ahead and get a little bit more of the vermilion in there. Because maybe we want to go in here and maybe we want a little bit of that. Okay, and let's get a little bit more of the chrome yellow in there. All right, and let's just, oh man, we got a little bit too much chrome yellow. I never thought I'd say, hey, we got too much chrome yellow, but here we are. And maybe we want to go in and, you know, maybe there's just maybe there's a little bush here and there. Let's go in with a 1-inch brush and just. Something along the edges here. With our little bush brush. That's really what the 1-inch brush is, you know, a little bush brush. That's all it is. Okay. Alright, I think we got ourselves about finished painting here. Let's go ahead and sign this. Oops, wrong end. Yeah, that happens sometimes here. We get a lot of medium on that liner brush, and we go into the vermilion, and we just sign our name right here. And I'll sign mine, SK, here. It's not flowing off the brush like that. There it goes. And then like that. There it goes. Sometimes it needs a little encouragement. That's okay. Okay. A little bit of a hummingbird on that one. Alright. So let's clean off the rest of our brushes here. First before we wipe off the knives. Okay. Showed his boss. Well, we had ourselves an interesting composition today, didn't we? Yeah. This one was pretty challenging. It's deceptively challenging, like a lot of pieces that we do here. And every time you have a piece that challenges you, and you think to yourself, oh, I don't know if I can do that, well, you should try doing it anyway, because you never know. And if you screw it up, who cares? Just don't do it on a large canvas first. If you do it on a large canvas first, you might find yourself a little more upset than you would if you just did it on a little canvas. Alright. Okay. That looks good. Okay. I believe we've got all of our brushes all cleaned off here. They're ready to paint again. All ready for the next piece. let's go ahead and give our fan brush a little bit of a rinse, because fan brush got a lot of paint on it today. And the fan brush does great work, but it also can't afford to get lots and lots of paint on it. Okay. Little hummingbird. Oh, that never ceases to amuse me. Never fails. Okay. There's a lot of fun here today. Let me see. Uh-oh. Got ourselves a little bit of paint still on that other fan brush. Gotta watch out for your brushes, because sometimes they'll still have paint on them even after you rinse them. Well, watch out for them. You gotta caretake for your brushes. Okay. I got it that time. Sometimes you get little stubborn flakes of paint on the brush that don't want to come off because they like it too much there. It feels like home to them now. They were looking for a place to live, and well, now they're hanging out on the brush yelling squatters' rights, but you know, we can't have any of that. We gotta get them off that brush because we gotta paint with it. Okay? And you know, be sure you get all the edges of your palette knife again. You don't want to let anything stay on that knife because you gotta get it all cleaned up. Can you imagine walking across this place and, you know, maybe going out here, maybe living out here a little bit? I don't know. Here. I got an idea, like right here. Let's just throw that in there a little bit. There. And we'll throw a little bit extra right here. Yep. And maybe a little bit extra just to cover up some. There it goes. Just a little indication of maybe some stones and stuff. Just a little indication. That was just a little flat brush that I had nearby. I don't think I've ever used that before. That's the first time I ever used that flat brush. That's hilarious. Here. Give that a little bit of a showing it off. Not showing it off, but showing it who's boss, rather. And then let's go ahead and clean off this other palette knife. There. I just had to get that last mark in, didn't I? Sometimes I have to get that last mark in even after I sign the painting. It's funny how that works. Ooh, I thought the painting was finished. Ooh, well, surprise. Okay. Okay. You know what this needs? Let me get my big knife here. Let me get my big knife. This needs a little bit of encouragement. I'm going to take some of that dark color with the alizarin and the ultramarine and the phthalo green. I'm going to mix up that nice dark color. I'll just get a little bit of that base in there too, because why not? Why not? That base color is not there for nothing. No, it ain't there for nothing. Okay, now let's go ahead now and maybe from right about, oh, I don't know, let's go right about, yeah. Let's just scrape off this color here. Scrape out all that color. And then maybe, yeah, right about up to there. Yeah, that's gonna look good. Okay. You know what we can do? You know what we can do? Let's go ahead and get some of that color off. Right there. And I'll keep some of that dark color because I still want to use that. Yeah, that's a little trick. Scrape some of that dark color back off because you still want to use it. Okay. Alright. Let's make sure that we get all the paint off of here that we possibly can. Because God knows we're going to need all of this. Okay. Okay. Good there. Looking good. So what we do, cut across like that, and we just cover this. Cover it. Alright. And you know what we can do? We can get a little bit more alizarin in there. And that way, it's got more of that violet hue. Okay? Yeah. There we go. That's what we want. We want a little bit more of that. Now don't worry about the paint breaking up, because you know it's going to look a little stony anyway. We just want a little something, Okay, so I think an easier way to do this than the way that I did it on the little pieces of rock in the background would be to go up here and get some of the white, of course, and then, you know, just pull that down, and then we're just going to pick a spot here and just, okay, just like that, right? Right. And then, well, let's put that back on the palette. We don't have to. I'll take my roll of paper towels here. I'm gonna have to tear one off soon because I'm getting a lot of smears on there. A lot of smears. Okay. Now, since we're using a lot of the chrome yellow and the vermilion, let's make a little shadow color right over here. It's got a little bit more red in it. Actually, let's take a little bit of the alizarin crimson on that. Yeah, the alizarin crimson is probably the way to go on this. Now let's take a little bit of the dark color. Alright. So now we got the alizarin crimson. We got that bright orange right there with lots of white in it. And we're going to take a little bit of white on this. Alright. That's a pretty good color right there. That's a pretty good color. I'm pretty close to using up all my white here, so we're going to have to make some decisions here. I think we got a good decision right here. Now, I don't want to mix the paint up too much. You want to leave it kind of marbled. Okay, that's good. Pull that out. I'm going to have to watch my sleeve here because I'm getting dangerously close to getting paint on my sleeve. Alright, we'll just go down in here and look at that. Look at that. Got those little interesting little things that we got going on now. Maybe you want to throw one right over there. Why not? Okay? Okay. And that's how we do it. Do this in layers and I think you'll have better results. Okay, now's about the time where I should tear off a piece of the paper towel because that one's getting pretty full of paint. Work hard, not smart. Or well, I guess that is my philosophy. Work hard, not smart. work smart, not hard, fellas. That's the way to do it. Okay. I'll just pull this down right about here. And yeah, we'll just throw that right in there. Why not? Yeah, that's looking good. Looking good like that. Okay, I'll wipe off the excess. Alright. Let's take some of that other color and throw it down right about here. And all those little nooks and crannies where you see all this color kind of bare because it's all that dark spot is there. You want to throw that in there. Okay, maybe you want to get some of this in there. If you do, yeah, just throw it in. Why not? Okay, that's looking pretty decent. We just go ahead and wipe that on the towels right there. Now, last one. I promise, last one. Okay, this one right here. Come on, I'm doing the sound. Let's go ahead and get it done. There it goes. That's better. You want to have a little bit more down here? Go for it. If you want to marble it, yeah. If you want to marble it, go nuts. Sometimes it looks a little bit more interesting that way. Here, let's finally take that color that we made, that mid-tone color, and let's go down here. And yeah, just like that. Leave a little bit of dark in there, I think, because that might help it stand out a little bit more. Okay. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, we got some rocks going on there, don't we? Yeah, we do. Ooh, that looks smart. That looks very smart. Okay, we'll just throw some stuff down in there because I think that would look fantastic. You know, sometimes you just gotta say, forget about it when you think about all the rocks and all that business in here. Okay. There you go. That's the way. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Let's go ahead and throw that one down in there. Yeah. Why not? Okay. Let's put that palette aside. I want to get my fan brush here because we got a few things I want to take care of up here. I'm looking at this grass versus this grass up above, and I don't know how I feel about it. We need to get some of that vermilion with the chrome yellow here and take care of some business. Because I don't know about this. I don't know about all this. Maybe we'll get a little bit of the white too. We'll pull into that white. Yeah, that's the way. Okay. Okay. Now that. Okay. That's looking a little smarter. Alright. Okay. Maybe you got all kinds of little hills and all that happening over here. And throw some stuff over in here. Because you know how it is. You know. You know. This southwest thing, we're going to have a lot of reds and stuff going on in there, aren't we? Yeah, a little bit. So it's nice to have a little bit of the red in there. I don't even know if this is really southwest, is it? This is just west. Yeah, I'll just throw some more of those reds in there. Throw some more of the reds. And a little bit more of the white too. There. Maybe a little bit more of that. Right in here. Okay. Maybe all this grass is all dried out and stuff. And ooh, we're getting loads of paint here. Loads of it. That is too much paint on that ferrule. Okay. Very nice, very nice. Okay. That's good. Maybe we'll take a little bit more right here. Take a little bit more right there and go on the edge, and that's nice. There. That's looking real nice. Now we got a little bit more of that southwestern flavor, or just that western flavor, I guess. I keep wanting to say southwest, but I really don't know if it's southwest or not. No, I don't think it is. All right, let's take a quick look here. Ooh, I got a little bit of paint on my palette. Oh boy, that's one for the old checklist. That's one for the bingo card. Am I gonna get paint on my brush? Well, I kind of have to if I want to paint. But paint on the palette, well, that's totally normal, unless you're getting it on the side. Oh, look at you, you big goof. You goofball. Look at you. You're so silly. You're ridiculous. I am. I really am ridiculous here. Let's get some of that I keep wanting to say southwestern flavor. Fine, we'll just say southwestern flavor. Let's get some of that southwestern flavor, because it's, you know how it is, that those southwestern art pictures of all those paintings of the landscapes out west and everything. Here, this is what we can do. You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get some of that odorless turpentine right here and wave it through this color, okay? I'm just going to and everywhere that I think there should be a little bit of this color, okay, that's a good way of doing it right there too. You can push with the corner and then push with your brush, or push with the edge of that. Here's what we can do. Here's what we can do. Okay. Now we can take this dark color with the ultramarine and the phthalo green and the inducing crimson, and we can go in here, make sure it's all loaded up and all that. You can go in there, make sure you got that color all darkened up down here. Tell you what, I'm going to get a lot of the phthalo in that. I don't know, I just feel like it needs a lot of phthalo. Okay. Right there. Just like that. Okay. And right in here. Because maybe we need a little bit more darkness. Okay. Just like that. Rinse off the brush. Give it our little hummingbird. Make sure it doesn't have any dark paint on it. And let's get our southwestern flavor ready. Let's get our southwestern flavor. We're gonna get the chrome yellow, the smidge of the vermilion, and then just on the tips, just the tips, we're gonna go right in here. Here. There. Sometimes you need to give it a little bit more encouragement. Okay. And right in here. There. And one more over here. There it goes. Okay. Okay. That's about it for this one. And that's how we conclude a painting right after we've already signed it. After we get seized by inspiration. Because sometimes, you know, it happens. Sometimes you can't help yourself. There's just something not quite right about the picture. And you gotta go in and fix it. So that's what we did. And, painting, I think, looks a lot better than it did. Thank goodness. I was kind of worried about this one for a second. Oof. Wasn't looking too hot. Oh well. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this one if you give it a try. And who knows, maybe you can figure out a way to do it a little bit better than I could. I would recommend going in and just, keeping this a lot simpler than what I tried to do. Now, it turned out all right. It was also a little harder to do than I think it really needed to be. Otherwise, this picture is a lot of fun. Okay. And now all of our tools are cleaned off. Let's make sure the edges of the palette knife are all clean. Very important to check on that. So important you have no idea. There. Ooh, look at that. A lot of edges on there. My goodness, we just cannot get this knife clean, can we? Oh, it is a chore to get that knife clean. Oh well. Ah well. Let's pull this off and see if we can do anything with the brush. A brush has a little bit of residue. Sometimes the brush has a little bit of residue after you clean it off. Especially the fan brush. The fan brush is so difficult to get clean. Especially after you get loaded up with paint and all that. Yeah, let's try that again. Okay. Little hummingbird. One last one. And let's see how it turned out. Is it clean? It's mostly clean. It's mostly clean, which is good enough. Because, you know, your brushes may not ever get all the way clean, because sometimes the color tends to stain the brushes. It's a little fun fact on that one. But it's a fact of life. Okay. Well, I really hope that you enjoyed this. Now, I hope you give this one a try, because I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. Remember, when you do this section, try to break it up into smaller chunks. And just do it in big palette knife motions like I did down here. Because I think that this is a lot more fun than some of the areas we see up there, which appear a little bit busy. But again, I think if you try this and challenge yourself, you're going to have a lot of fun with it. I challenged myself, and, well, I did have a lot of fun with it. Did I get any paint on my shirt? I didn't. I didn't get any paint on my shirt. Wow. I can't believe I didn't accidentally dip my shirt in there. Okay, well, that's a good deal. Well, go ahead and try this and challenge yourself. And remember, you're not going to get any better if you don't challenge yourself. It's important to always try new things. Otherwise, you're going to just become a little stagnant as an artist. So, see if you can do better than I could on this one. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Who knows? Anyway, I'll see you next time. And until then, with love from me to you, bye-bye.